All right, halftime in Salt Lake City, a really slow start to this game. It was 22-22 at the end of one. The Kings got it going in the second quarter, but they're letting an inferior team without any of their key guys hang around. It is 55-46. Couple of stats here. The Jazz missed 6 free throws in that first half, but the Kings assist to turnover ratio, we talked about this on the Kings roundtable. It's just terrible. I mean, come on. 10 assists and 7 turnovers. That's just not good basketball.
No, very careless play out there.
Yeah.
Really, there's very disjointed offense. I mean, there's no doubt the defense for the Kings is significantly better than the offense thus far. And, honestly, it's about as exciting as cutting my toenails,
Yeah.
Jerry, can you give me the channel to watch that, bud?
Well, it's a process when you get to be my age.
Hopefully it's not the same channel they use on Valentine's Day. 55-46. The Kings lead here. Sorry, I couldn't resist. At intermission. The other aspect we talk about, guys, it would have been nice to really utilize your entire bench and not play your guys a lot of minutes. Now, barring a huge third quarter, you're not going to be able to have the luxury of resting your guys. I mean, you're going to have to play this game all out because you're only up by 9. You already had Levine playing 20 minutes, Sabonis 16, Monk 18, and the other 2 starters 15. I mean, again, unless you have a smoking third quarter, you're going to have to play your guys in the mid-30s.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. And like I say, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't have a good third quarter. I think the real problem, the main problem for the Jazz, they just can't score enough.
No.
So any kind of continuity on offense for the Kings can break this game open. But you pointed out the thing. I mean, if you can't take care of the ball, it's hard to really get anything going consistently. And then it becomes we're just seeing the take turns dribbling, trying to find a shot.
Yeah, Jerry, the Jazz have made it their game plan to take Domas out. Don't let him distribute. Don't let him score. He only gets 3 shots there in the first half. What do the Kings need to do to adjust to that?
I would like to see more screen rolls, high screen rolls. We haven't hardly, I don't think we've seen that the whole half, to get him involved a little bit. I think it could be a screen pop, pick and pop kind of thing, where he could get involved not only just as a shooter, but distribute the ball easier. But as you pointed out, Rhino, I mean, basically, just as a screener, and then going down to the low box, they've got a couple of guys, filling in and covering him. So he really needs to get involved to get any kind of a flow to the offense, which it really doesn't have.
Ryan, for the second game in a row, no Trey Lyles in the first half.
Yeah, very interesting. Doug giving the nod to Jake LaRavia, who had 3 fouls. Granted, that's going to happen at times when you play that style. But, Jerry, I think the Kings missed that offense from Trey.
I do, too. I mean, it's a case where I know they'd like to get a good look at Jake, but so far the look they're getting just isn't as good as the look they'd get from Trey Lyles. I mean, who certainly is going to rebound a little better and certainly make shots. So, at some point I mean, I get it. You want to look at the new guys a little bit, but at some point they got to produce.
Jerry, here's the key question that we've had this season. When Larry Bird would come help you with the yard work, what kind of beer would you like to drink?
Well, basically, I'm trying to think. I think it was always Coors. It was always Coors.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he was a Coors guy, and of course,
Yeah.
I'd drink whatever's free.
So, you drink whatever's free. I love it.
Free, yeah. But there would be a cold beer available. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah. What do you think? I mean, is it just as simple as taking care of the ball in this third quarter to really blow these guys off the floor, or is there more to it, Jerry?
Well, I think there's more to it. I mean, obviously that's part of it. But as you guys already pointed out, I mean, we're just not seeing any flow to the offense. I mean, Zach LaVine's making some shots, and really that's kind of the difference in the game. Keegan has looked close to himself, but other than that, I think with Monk, he's really forcing his game, and I see a lot of over dribbling. I mean, it's pass the ball. We need to make that extra pass. We're just not getting the extra pass.
Hey, Rhino, only 4 minutes for Markel Fultz in that first half.
Yeah, a little bit surprising to me. It seemed like a game where he could be really useful, especially trying to get the ball moving. There was nothing that jumped off the page to me that looked bad. How about you, Jerry?
Well, yeah, I mean, I just think with this team just looks just discombobulated and really overall, and they've got to get combobulated. I don't
Yeah.
think Fultz is the answer necessarily.
No.
I think there's a little bit of there's a player in there, but now just what difference he's going to make, because the question I got with Fultz is, when is he going to make an assist? That's kind of that's kind of the number one job.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a good
your-
point.
your
I think the
your
Kings
point-
roll in this game, though. I think that they're going to have a big second half. I think the Jazz, as you say, Jerry, they can't score. I think the Kings will win this game 120-96.
Yeah, I'll go at 118, about 98. I'm right in the same ball game with you there. I just don't think they can get 100, and I think the Kings.
No.
It's going to be hard for them not to get offense going better than they have.
Yeah, I'm going to say 116-99 Kings, but my concern is if you have one of those quarters out of the two that you had in these next 3 games coming up, it's going to be a long night for this basketball team.
That's a very good point. And I'll tell you, Jerry, we've been through this many, many, many times. This is the NBA. And when you have a game like this, where you're resting a lot of players, load management, there are other players that are getting their opportunity, and they're really playing for their lives, and they're showcasing their talent, not only for the team that they play for, but other teams around the league. And very often you get a balls to the wall type of an effort. And so the reason why I say that, do not let this team hang around, because you can get bit.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, exactly right. These guys know they're playing. Most of the guys that are playing tonight for the Jazz, they're playing for the league. They're playing for their jobs, playing for the leagues. They know pretty well they may not be with the Jazz. So, and I think it shows up on defense more than offense. I mean, you're seeing really a lot of effort on their part. I mean, offensively, they're a limited bunch, but I like the effort for the Jazz. You got to be proud of that. I mean, they're making the Kings work.
Yeah, and Grant, you can't let Jordan Clarkson get going 0-8 in the first half, but doesn't take much for his Tinder to light.
No, you're 100% correct. He can get it going. Jerry, we talk about Danny Ainge now running the Jazz basketball operations. You have a favorite Danny Ainge story? I know you have many of them, but you have one that stands out above the rest?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think the one I always think of the most, and I've told many times, was when we were playing the Golden State, and Mitch Richmond was a rookie, and Danny was telling me, he said, let me guard him. I said, okay, if you think you can handle him. He said, yeah, we don't need any double team help or something. I can guard the guy. And so about midway through the second quarter, Mitch had already pounded him for about 12, 14 points or 15, and we called timeout. And Danny, I jumped on Danny a little bit. I said, what the hell? Can't you guard that guy? And Danny said, no, I really can't. He said, you're going to have to give me some help. I said, okay, we'll try to get a little double help for you. So, and of course, that was also my memory why I really wanted to trade for Mitch. I knew how hard he was to guard.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. Of course, you knew before the game started when Danny said that to you that he couldn't guard Mitch, but you were like, okay.
Right. Yeah, I had a pretty good clue, but you always want to let the players, once they find out. And Danny's smart. He found out. It's like, okay. No, Danny was usually right about most things. That time he kind of overestimated his own ability.
Ryan, Danny was living in Granite Bay, and he had a tennis court in his backyard. And Jerry and I used to play tennis all the time. But Jerry had played tennis with Danny, and then Danny invited me to play tennis. And Jerry goes, Napes, I'm just going to tell you something right now. Any call that's close, give him the benefit of the doubt, okay? Because Danny played the tennis match like it was Game 7 of the NBA Finals, okay?
Hey, Napes, I got to tell you, I was playing him once, and only was he beating the crap out of him, but then he started playing left-handed and beat the crap out of him that way too.
Hey, I mean, I'm not kidding you. Danny, playing tennis with Danny was just like, he was as competitive on the tennis court in a casual game of tennis as he would be in a playoff game, Jerry.
Well, and then bust your chops all the way. You know, I told him once, I said, if you weren't so damn good, the only good player I got, I'd bench you.
That's funny.
I'd bench you. Oh my God.
How about a
all right,
good tennis story between you two, since you guys played all the time?
Well, we were stupid too. We played one day in the middle of a heat wave.
Yeah,
In the middle of the day. And after like a couple of minutes, we looked at each other and we're like, what the hell are we doing out here?
hey, Napes had a good serve, though. Had a good serve and a good forehand. And
all right.
You know, I basically just dinked and dunked and you know, had to, you know, I had the power of about a 60-year-old woman, you know. I did.
Jerry,
Jerry had to slice. Jerry always used to slice the ball, and it made you run a lot.
Slices and drops and stuff.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you'd be good around the net, good volleyer.
Well, you know, actually I wasn't that good. I really was better, you know, as from the baseline and just keeping the ball in play. That was when I could run. You know, there was. That ended about in my 50s where I could run down a ball, and that's kind of when I decided to quit playing. But great game.
We had some fun.
A lot of fun, you know. But Danny Ainge, don't play Danny unless you're really good and you want to get made fun of all the time.
Oh boy, very true. All right, so here we go, 55-46. We'll be on after the game. We'll take your phone calls. And let's hope we're talking about a W. I'm just going to update you on a couple of scores. The Clippers did win in a hard-fought game at Chicago, but they do win 122-117 as the Clippers are trying to maintain their spot in the West. And Oklahoma City, they came from behind. They beat Brooklyn. Portland won at Washington. And right now, the Rockets at the end of one quarter lead 34-20 over the Spurs. Jerry, thank you. We appreciate it. And we'll talk to you at halftime of the Rockets game.
Can't wait. Thanks. Take care, guys.
Take care. Thank you very much. And Ryan, never a dull moment with the one and only Jerry Reynolds.
He is something else, one of a kind.
We'll talk to you after the game, everybody. Enjoy the second half. Bye-bye.